Hi, welcome to class. Today we are thinking about and working towards a yoga posture called virasana or hero pose, which is a seated posture. So we're going to be using our movements and our physical yoga postures in the most traditional sense, I guess, as a way of building towards being able to sit more comfortably towards the end of your practice. So if you have a yoga block, let's have that with you. If you haven't, something like a thick book or maybe like a Tupperware box or lunch box with its lid on, something fairly solid that you can sit on, that would be useful. And let's lie down on your back with your knees bent. So if you have got a yoga block, excuse me, then we'll bend your knees, lift your bum and slide it on its lowest height crossways underneath the back of your pelvis. So you're just resting on it. If you were using something like a Tupperware box and that's not comfortable to rest on, if you've got a cushion handy, this bit you could use a cushion instead. So let's bring your right knee into your chest, catch hold of it with your hands, and straighten your other leg along the floor. So some of you, it will feel nice to like draw that top knee way in towards you. If that gets uncomfortable, you could try just doing that a little bit less, or maybe taking it a bit more out to the right rather than straight in. And then think about your bottom leg. And make your bottom leg as long and as straight as possible. Your bottom leg is actively trying to reach towards the far end of your mat, or maybe even past it. Keep your legs doing what they're doing. Notice that you can feel yourself breathe in. Can breath be just slow and unhurried? And now your top foot. Start to point and flex your top foot. So by pointing, I mean sitting your toes away from your shin, and flexing is bringing your toes towards your shin and pressing through heel. So in the posture that we're thinking about today, virasana, your feet will be in a pointed position. If when we get there, the actual seated posture isn't comfortable, that's okay, you can sit another way. But for what we are going to be doing in our physical practice, like ankle mobility is going to be a part of that. So now also let's draw some circles with that top foot and maybe the other way. And then pause that circling and same foot, your top foot, just point your toes and try and hold your foot like that. Keep that going on with your top leg. Now also think bottom leg. Let's point your toes. Like with your bottom leg, there's something just out of reach that you're trying to just press with your big toe. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, release that top knee, both knees bent on the floor. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. If you want to adjust the position of your block before you do that, you're welcome to. Bring your left knee in, catch it with your hands. Straighten right leg along the floor. So trying to find like a reasonably comfortable position for that top leg as you hug it in, and your bottom leg, you're making it long and straight. And then same thing, top foot pointing and flexing a few times. So you might perhaps try and breathe in time with moving your foot. If you like that, great. If you haven't, don't worry, because we're going to flow a bit later. So there is plenty of time to start to build up a rhythm of breath before we finish. And maybe circling top foot one way and then other way. Then pause your circles and point your top toes. So you're trying to get as long as possible as you can down the front of your shin, across the front of your ankle, across top of foot. Then also add to that, point your bottom foot. So your bottom tiptoes are reaching away from you. Your top foot is also pointed and your top knee is drawing either straight in towards your chest, or you could take it a bit more out towards armpit. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, release. Both knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Lift your bum, slide your prop out, put it to one side, and then make your way up to sit. Let's come to all fours. Have your feet pointed, so the tops of your feet are on the floor. Okay. Then start to sit your bum back towards your heels in child's pose. So for some of you, as you sit your bum back, it's going to create a stretch down the front of your shin, the front of your ankle and your foot. If that's you, then great. You just sit your bum back as much as you need to maybe feel a bit of a stretch down the front of lower leg. If your hips go all the way back as far as they can and you're not feeling anything in the front of your leg, you could maybe try sitting up a little. If sitting on your heels is still mega comfy and you don't get anything in front of foot, then just lean your fingertips slightly back. Lean back enough that you're able to pick your knees off the floor. So just to be super clear, if you felt a stretch in the front of your foot or your shin before you picked your knees up, then you don't need to do that. We're just looking for a stretch. There's nothing like extra, there's no extra like yoga points to be had from picking your knees up if it's not necessary. Okay, and then come back down. Shift to all fours. Okay, and step your right foot forwards between your hands. Okay, between or outside, either way. So we're going to keep this front foot flat on the floor. You can either be up on your fingertips or you could have your hands maybe on your block or your book. Take an inhale. As you exhale, straighten your front leg just till it stops. Keep that foot flat on the floor. Inhale, bend front knee. Great. Exhale, shift weight back. Inhale, bend front knee. Yep. Exhale, shift weight back. Okay. And then next time you end up with your weight shifted back, just pause like that. And those toes, so it might be that your leg goes all the way straight and your foot is comfortably flat on the floor. Fine. It might be that as you shift back, either your leg doesn't go all the way straight or your toes start to pick up. That's fine. Just go as far back as you can be with your foot flat on the floor. And now with those toes, actively press down. So it's like there's something underneath your toes that you're trying to squash. As you inhale, rebend your front knee, plant hands flat on the floor. Exhale, step back, hands and knees. Okay, so same thing, other side. Front leg can be, I've got mine outside, or it could be between your hands, whichever you prefer. Hands can be on floor or block. Take an inhale. As you exhale, shift your weight back, straighten front leg just till it stops. Inhale, bend front knee. Great. Exhale, shift your weight back. So you might be used to doing this shape where you flex your foot and you come onto your heel. That's to get more of a stretch down the back of your leg. What I want you to be doing is keeping your front foot flat as you're going backwards and forwards. So as you shift back, your foot is kind of sent into this pointed position, which you might remember, that's something we're going to need later. Okay. So pause next time your hips are shifted back, and with your toes, press down into the floor. Inhale, rebend front knee, hands flat. Exhale, step back, all fours. Or if you're comfy in downward dog, let's go for a few breaths there. So tuck your toes under, send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. So you're sending your tailbone up and back towards where the wall behind you, if you're inside, meets the ceiling. Keep sending your tailbone up and back. As you inhale, come right up onto your tiptoes. Exhale, let your heels release down towards the floor. Great. Inhale, come right up onto tiptoe. Exhale, heels release down. Maybe one more of those. Then when you're ready, step your right foot forwards again into a lunge. Back knee down onto the floor. And then untuck your back toes. so that the top of your foot is resting on the floor rather than the pads of your toes. Okay, press your back foot down. So again, like what I'm looking for here is maybe a feeling of stretch in the front of that foot, front of ankle, into your shin. If you get that just by untucking your toes and pressing your foot down, you don't need to do anything else. Just keep pressing that foot down. If you're not really getting anything yet, you could try pressing your back foot down more so that your knee maybe, it's like your knee wants to lift off the floor. Or perhaps you press your back foot down so much that your knee actually picks all the way off the floor. Take a breath in wherever you are. So you're just pressing with that back foot. As you breathe out, step back, all fours, or downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. Exhale, step your other foot forwards into a lunge. Back knee down on your mat to start with, even if you know you're going to lift it in a minute. Untuck your toes. Press that back foot down into the floor. Either just try and press it down while your knee's on the floor, or press it down, knees almost lifting, or press it down so that knee is actually lifting all the way up. So all of these are good options. When I give you options, there isn't one that's like the more or less advanced options. They're just different ways for different bodies to try and get the same effect. So a feeling of lengthening down the front of that foot and ankle, that's what I'm after. And then drop your back knee down to the floor. Step back to all fours and downward facing dog. Bend your right knee deeply, press your left heel down towards the floor. And then switch sides. Then let's have both legs even, maybe a slight bend in both your knees, hips go up and back, breath in where you're at. As you breathe out, walk your feet to your hands, come to a standing forward fold. If you're on a mat, towards the front short edge of your mat. Next time you inhale, lift halfway up to standing. So pull chest forwards and up enough that you might feel maybe back, maybe bum and leg switch on. As you exhale, fold down towards floor. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, reach arms overhead, up to ceiling or sky. Exhale, bring palms together and thumbs to your chest. Okay, so one more thing before we start to move a little bit faster, just so I just sort my outfit out. Just let your arms dangle. So when we come to sit later, I'm going to be asking you to try and sit up straight in a way that facilitates you being able to breathe. So first of all, stay standing upright, but what I want you to do is really slouch your upper body. So that head hangs forward, shoulders round forwards, upper body round. And then see how easy or otherwise it feels to breathe deeply when you're in this slouched position. And then let's come back up. And now do the opposite. Lift your chest way up, shrug your shoulders down your back, shoulder blades squeeze, lift chest up, maybe look a little bit up, and then compare, like, how easy is it to breathe there? So in my body, the answer is not easy in either of those positions. So let's shift from here to slouching again, and then lifting chest and slouching again, and gradually make that shifting backwards and forwards less and less and less until you're somewhere in between those 2 points. So you're not overly slouched forwards like you've been at your computer for 10 hours, but you're not really lifting your chest like you're a ballerina on stage. We're just standing upright. Imagine there's an invisible thread that runs from your tailbone, up your spine, up the back of your neck, up the back of your head, and then it leaves the back of your head and heads up towards ceiling or sky, but not right from the very top, sort of towards the back. And that is gently pulling you upwards. So you're growing tall, not by lifting your chin, but you're growing tall up through the back of spine and back of neck. Arms just dangle. Then when you're ready to, on an inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, fold down towards your legs. You might choose to bend your knees a bit. Inhale, lift halfway up, chest pulls way forwards and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach arms overhead. Exhale, palms together and thumbs to chest. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway, chest pulls forwards. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up, reach all the way up. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. Let's do one more of those. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up and reach your arms up. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. Let's move on. Inhale, reach up. So we're going to add some lunges in. Exhale, fold, keeping that same slow pace. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step right foot back lunge. Drop that knee down to the floor. Inhale, reach both arms overhead. Exhale, hands down by front foot, plank. Pause there for an inhale. As you exhale, lower down to lie on your front. Once you're there, reach your arms back alongside you. Inhale, lift arms, legs, chest up, locust pose. Exhale, hands under shoulders, downward facing dog. So hips go up and back. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, step your right foot forwards, drop back knee down to floor. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, step forwards and fold at the front of your mat. Inhale, lift just halfway, so shoulders away from ears. Exhale, refold. Inhale, come up, reach your arms up. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. Same stuff, other side. Inhale, reach to ceiling. Exhale, fold down towards legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot back lunge, left knee down to floor. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down, plank. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower down to lie on your front. Arms reach back alongside you. Inhale, locust pose, lift up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in there. As you breathe out, step your left foot forwards, back knee down. Inhale, reach to ceiling. Exhale, step forwards and fold at the front of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach your arms up. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. Let's do another round. Inhale, reach up. Remember, you rest if you like. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right foot back lunge, right knee down to floor. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down, plank. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower down to floor. Untuck toes, hands stay on floor. Inhale, cobra pose, so chest pulls forwards and up. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, send your right leg up and back. Exhale, step it forwards, back knee down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, step forwards and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up and reach up. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. Last side, breath in, reach up. Breath out, fold forward. So just trying to set a rhythm. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot back lunge, left knee down to floor. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down, plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower to floor. Cobra pose, inhale, so chest pulls forwards and up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step it forwards, back knee down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, step forwards and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach arms overhead. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. Let's move on. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog, or all fours, your choice. Slow, steady breath in. Slow, steady breath out. So you might perhaps inhale, bend one knee. Exhale, bend the other knee. And then pause when you're ready to become still. On an inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, step it forwards, lunge. Back knee can be up or down. Either way, when you're ready, come up, put your hands on your hips. Okay. So in the posture that we're working towards, virasana, as well as a pointed position for your foot, some people will feel it as a decent stretch in the front of their thighs. So let's see if we can get that area to have a little bit of a stretch in preparation for where we're going. So if your back knee is off the floor like mine, straighten your front leg a little bit and bend your back knee a little. If your back knee was on the floor, you can leave it there and just straighten your front leg a bit. And then whichever position you were just in, now think about trying to drop your tailbone down towards the floor. Draw belly in and up, like you're trying to flatten this just natural, normal curve in your lower back. Keep that feeling. Rebend your front knee. And if your back knee's off the floor, just slowly straighten it until it stops. You might find it doesn't go the whole way straight this time. Okay. And then once you are there, reach your arms forwards, interlink your fingers, press your knuckles away from you, draw belly in and up and touch into chest. So you're still almost trying to lift your belly button away from the floor, but now we're also rounding upper back. Take an inhale, exhale, hands down by front foot, downward facing dog. You could hold here if you like. You could bring your knees down for a rest if you want, or if you prefer, as you inhale, shift forwards plank. Exhale, slow lower down. Inhale, I'm going to do cobra pose. You could choose locust if you prefer. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Exhale, step it forwards, lunge, back knee up or down. When you're ready, come up. You might maybe put hands on hips. Okay, straighten your front leg a bit. If your back knee's off the floor, bend that a little. And then belly draws in and up, tailbone drops down. So you're trying to just minimize this curve in your lower back. Not because it's not meant to be there. It's meant to be there all the rest of the time. But just for what we're doing right now, it just puts tension in your hips in a certain way. Maintain that as you rebend your front knee. Back leg straightens just till it stops. Reach your arms forwards, interlink your fingers, press your knuckles away from you. So it's almost like you're trying to scoop your belly in and up as you're rounding through your upper back. This time when you inhale, untangle your fingers, sweep arms overhead and up to ceiling. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. Okay. So every time we get back here, you could stay in downward dog for a few breaths. You could bring your knees down, take a break, maybe grab a drink of water. Or if you want to keep moving, you could be pedaling your legs like we were before, alternating, bending one knee and then the other. You could do that little sequence of plank, down, back bend, and then back to downward dog. So when you're ready to move on, either downward dog or all fours is going to work for a start point. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, step your foot forwards, lunge. Let's have back leg straight this time. Sit up on your tiptoes, back foot. And then bring yourself up. Bring hands onto your hips. Okay, so thinking just about this back foot, we're not going to turn it in like you might do if you're coming to a warrior posture. Your heel's going to keep pointing straight towards the back edge of your mat. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, slowly let that heel lower down and back. Inhale, push the floor away. Come on to tiptoes, back foot. Exhale, heel releases down. That's it. Couple more times. You might inhale, push floor away. Exhale, release back foot. And then one more time. Okay. And then this time when your heel won't drop down any further, now I do want you to turn your heel in a bit and your toes out just as much as you need to anchor that foot down in the floor. And then look forwards again past your front foot. Reach your arms up so we're in warrior one. On an inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, put hands on hips. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, fold forwards over your front leg. So sometimes you might decide to shorten your stride when you come into this position. For today, I would like you to stay in at least as long a stride as you were in warrior one. Because when you tilt forwards over this front leg, that's making this front foot be in kind of a pointed position. So you could either have your hands on your hips, you could have your hands on your legs, you could have your hands on your block if you prefer. And just like we did before, with your front toes, press into the floor. Your front toes are trying to squash your mat or squash your floorboards. Then if you're using a block, put it to one side. On an inhale, rebend front knee, come back up, warrior one, arms reach forwards and up. Great, exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. Stay here if you want to. You could keep moving if you prefer to. Come down, take a break if you like. And then let's do that other side. Inhale, lift left leg. Exhale, step it forwards, lunge. Back leg straight, so you're up on tiptoes, back foot. Come up, maybe hands to hips or hands to breath. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, lower back heel down towards the floor, but you're not actually planting it yet. Inhale, tiptoes, back foot. Exhale, let it drop down towards floor. And just a few of those. Just moving in and out. If your foot's making weird noises against the mat, don't worry, mine is too. Next time you lower your heel down towards the floor, then turn it in just as much as you need and toes out just as much as you need to try and get it to touch the floor. Look past the front of your mat, so towards front of room. Reach arms overhead, warrior one. If you feel like you're in quite a long stride, that's okay. That's actually going to be beneficial for where we're going next. Inhale, straighten front leg. Exhale, hands on hips. Tilt forwards over your front leg. Keep your hands on your hips or put them on leg, floor, or block, whatever feels like it's about the right place. With your front toes, press into the floor. And then when you're ready to, on an inhale, rebend front knee, come all the way back up, warrior one, arms reach forwards and up. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. Hold here if you like. Come down, take a break if you want to, keep moving if you prefer to. We've got one more round of these standing stuff, and then we're going to make our way down onto the floor. So let's step your right foot forwards into a lunge, back knee down on the floor, untuck your back toes. Okay. Bring yourself up. Put your hands on your hips. Okay, with your back foot pressed down into the floor. So we're going to try and go from here to warrior three, which means just standing on this front leg. Quite often we'll do this with your back knee lifted. With your doing it with back knee down and your back toes pointed, means you're going to have to press that pointed foot down into the floor like we were at the beginning. So either you can just come with me if you have an idea of where I'm going with this, or you can watch me first and then join me. I might bring my hands to prayer. I'm pressing down with my back foot, and with that front heel is going to shove down and give me some power to lift up. So I'll take an inhale. As I exhale, shift forwards, lift that leg, almost fall over. Warrior 3, back leg lifts. And then look down towards the floor, fingertips down to the floor, bend your standing knee as much as you need to get your fingertips down. So it might be that your standing knee's bent a lot or that it's straight completely. Lift your top leg up until it stops and then point your top toes. Take a breath in, breath out, both feet down, standing forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Great, couple of breaths there. Or come down, take a rest if you want. You could flow if you prefer. Then last side, inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step it forwards, lunge, back knee down on the floor, untuck your back toes. As you're ready, come up, bring your hands to prayer. Press your front foot down, in particular that heel. Press down your back foot. Okay, so you need to lean way forwards. That's going to help you get off the floor. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, press with front heel, press back foot, lift up warrior 3, back leg lift, point your back toes. And then look down to the floor, fingertips down to floor or block. Bend standing knee if you like. Lift your top leg up and point your toes. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, both feet down, standing forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach the ceiling. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. Inhale, reach the ceiling. Exhale, fold down towards your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. As you inhale, shift forward to plank position. Exhale, lower down to lie on your front. Reach both arms back alongside you. Inhale, locust pose, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Nice. Let's prop up onto your elbows. Bend your left knee, bring your heel towards your bum. If that's kind of uncomfy around your lower back, remember when we were in that lunge and we were trying to flatten your lower back? See if you can add a little element of that in here. So it's like you're drawing your belly muscles in and you're trying to lengthen your tailbone towards your bottom foot. Then you might just stay like this, or you might reach back with your same side hand and catch hold of your foot. See if you can hold your foot rather than around your ankle, hold it more towards your toes. So your hand is almost shaping your foot into a pointed position. And then turn your chest forwards. Draw your foot towards your bum. If you feel like that's doing something kind of funky to your shoulder, you can always try and shrug that shoulder down your back. So we're trying to give the front of that left thigh a bit of a stretch, but also pointing your foot. Both of these are key for how we're going to try and sit in a moment. And then release that. If you want to lower down for a few breaths flat on your belly, you can do between sides. And then bend your right knee. Reach back, catch that foot. If you're like, I don't think my arms are long enough, that's okay. You just make your knee bend itself and you're pointing your toes. So that's going to be a more active version for your leg. Otherwise, reach back, catch your foot. Rather than by ankle, you're holding more towards toes. You might try and hold your foot in a way that's forcing it into a more pointed position. Rather than forcing, I might say encouraging. And then turn your chest forwards. If this feels like a lot in your lower back, you could have chest low. If you like that feeling of lifting chest and bending backwards, lift chest high. You're drawing your foot towards your bum. And then slowly release. Lower down to lie all the way on your front. And observe whether you can feel yourself breathing more in your back. And plant your hands under your shoulders. Push up to all fours. And grab your block. Put it in between your ankles. So it might be on its lowest height. I've got quite a fat block, so lowest height might work for me. For lots of people, and like average shaped block, being on its middle height, that kind of works. And then just take a moment when you've landed. Feel if you've landed kind of slouched. You might maybe put your hands on your thighs, lift your bum up, stick your bum out a little, and then sit back down, so that when you come to sit, you've got this natural, normal inward curve in your lower back. So it can be nice to, I can reach this cushion here, to also have something in your lap. And then maybe place the back of your less dominant hand on that. I've got a cushion, you could use another block, and then your more dominant hand rests on top. So I want you to feel like you're comfortably sitting. If this sitting position isn't working for you, you can come to lie down on your back with your knees bent. That's super similar. It's just like we've flipped you around 90 degrees. So if you did come to lie down just then, take a moment to settle. If you're sitting, just like we did before when we were standing, you don't want to be slouched, but then you don't want to be really exaggerating lifting chest either, just somewhere in between. So tailbone is dropping down towards the floor. You've got that imaginary thread running up your back, up the surface of your back, imagine. Up the back of your head and then up towards ceiling or sky, drawing you tall. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, you might do that. If that feels forced, then perhaps just gaze low. Is there any effort around your stomach muscles that you could let go of? So we've been working different shapes in your body to prep your physical body for being in this position. But we've also been using that movement and mental and physical effort as a way of keeping your attention on what you've been doing and not on anything else going on in your life, either now or in the future or in the past. With the aim of being able to make both body and your mind be a little bit stiller now than when you first tuned in. So if you notice you're starting to slouch back, keep thinking sit tall. You can just keep reiterating that length in the back of your neck. And we're going to sit quietly for just 5 minutes. On each minute, I'm going to give you a little instruction or ask you a question, just so you know that I'm still here and your internet hasn't died. So first of all, just notice, can you feel your breath making your belly move? while still being tall. Is there any tension you could let go of around your neck and shoulders? Could your face be any more relaxed? Where do you feel you're breathing most obviously? Do your inhales or exhales feel longer? Does it feel like the air flows more freely through one of your nostrils than the other? Are you able to feel your whole body and at the same time be aware of your breathing? Make each of your next 3 breaths progressively deeper than the one before. And then place one hand on your belly, one hand on the center of your chest. Feel yourself breathing. Inhale there. And then if you are sitting, as you exhale, just let your chin drop. lift your chin again. Let's come off your props. Send your legs out in front and maybe just give them a wiggle. And you might perhaps lean back on your hands, let yourself slouch. If you want to lie down for a few minutes or just come to sit for a bit longer, if you've got time to do that, you're of course welcome to just let this video run out or press pause, take as long as you need. If you just had this amount of time allotted for class today, then come to sit in any comfortable position. Decide if you prefer to finish with hands in lap or maybe palms together, your choice. Either way, as you inhale, sit up. Exhale, drop your chin. Thank you very much.